Hello and welcome to Daily Current Affairs by Neo IAS. Today is 27th September 2019 and the topics for discussion are Voluntary Code of Ethics, High Temperature Fuel Cell System, Sardar Patel National Unity Award, India TB Report of 2019, Chabahar Port, Dividend Distribution Tax, Current Affairs Capsules, Map Aided Program and Previous Year Question Revision Series. Coming to our first topic, which is the Voluntary Code of Ethics. Now, this is in news because the Internet and Mobile Association of India, IAMAI, on the behalf of its members, has agreed to observe the Voluntary Code of Ethics during all the future elections, including the ongoing general elections in the Haryana and Maharashtra legislative assemblies and various other by-elections that is also being conducted in the states simultaneously. Now, we'll talk a little bit about this. Now, the Internet and Mobile Association of India and the social media platforms that includes Facebook, WhatsApp, Google, TikTok, Twitter, etc. These social media platforms had presented and observed the Voluntary Code of Ethics during the general election to the 17th Lok Sabha in 2019. Now, IAMAI has assured the commission, that is the election commission, that the platform will cooperate in ensuring the conduct of free and fair elections. Now we'll come to a little bit of the features of this voluntary code of ethics. Now the social media platforms will voluntarily undertake information, education and communication campaigns to build awareness including electoral laws and other related instructions. Social media platforms have created a high priority dedicated grievance redressal channel for taking expeditious action again on the cases reported by the Election Commission of India. Now, the platforms will ensure that all political advertisements on the platforms are actually pre-certified from the Media Certification and Monitoring Committee as per the directions of the Honorable Supreme Court of India. Participating platforms are committed to facilitate transparency in paid political advertisements. This will also include utilizing their pre-existing labels, disclosure technology for such advertisements. Basically, when they advertise anything on their platform, they will actually first of all take the certified permission from the Media Certification and Monitoring Committee, and after that they will also facilitate transparency when they are advertising political ads on their platforms. Okay. Now coming to the Internet and Mobile Association of India. Now the IAMAI is a not-for-profit industry body registered under the Societies Act in 1896. Now its mandate is to expand and enhance the online and mobile value-added services sectors. Now coming to our next topic, which is the high temperature fuel cell system. Now this is in news because the President of India, that is Shri Ramnath Kovind, has unveiled the first indigenous high temperature fuel cell system which has been developed by CSIR, that is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Now CSIR had developed the new fuel system in partnership with the Indian industries under India's flagship program, and this program is New Millennium Indian Technology Leadership Initiative. Now we'll talk about this fuel cell system. Coming to the technology part of it, the fuel cells developed are based on high temperature proton exchange membrane technology. Now a proton exchange membrane is a semi-permeable membrane generally made from ionomers and designed to conduct protons while acting as an electronic insulator. The 5 kilowatt fuel cell system generates power in a green manner using methanol, biomethane with heat and water as the byproducts for further use. So understand, since the byproduct of the entire system is only heat and water, basically just water, it's extremely green, so it is not polluting the environment in any way. Now coming to the uses of this, the development is most suitable for distributed stationary power applications. It is not for concentrated power applications or big power sources, but for small areas. Now these will include for small offices, commercial units and data centers. Now other areas where this can be used is where high reliable power is essential with simultaneous requirement for air conditioning. So such areas you can use this kind of fuel cells. Now this system will also meet the requirement of efficient, clean and reliable backup power generator for telecom towers, remote locations and strategic applications as well. So there are different uses for this once you put your mind into it. Now we'll come and talk about why this invention is actually relevant. Now this development would actually totally replace the diesel generating sets. You understand outside shops in many places in India, you will see certain generators which are actually diesel powered. So this kind of fuel cells can actually totally replace them. And you know, diesel powered generators actually are polluting. They actually cause pollution by emitting other unwanted gases into the air. But in this case, the only thing that is actually generated is going to be heat and water. Now this kind of replacement can also help in reducing India's dependence on crude oil. Now in the field of clean energy, fuel cells distributed power generation system are emerging as a promising alternative to the grid power, and it is amounting to an efficiency greater than 70%, which otherwise may not be possible by other energy sources. So it is highly efficient also, this kind of system. Now coming to the new Millennium Indian Technology Leadership Initiative, as the first initiative that I talked to you about initially. Now as a part of the new Millennium Initiative, the government has mounted a far-sighted research and development program named the New Millennium India Technology Leadership Initiative in public-private partnership mode in 2000 to 2001. Now the responsibility of conceptualizing, evolving and implementing the program has been assigned to CSIR. Coming to our next topic, which is the Sardar Patel National Unity Award. Now this is in news because the government of India has instituted the Sardar Patel National Unity Award. We'll talk a little bit about this. Now the government of India, as I told you, has instituted this as the highest civilian award in the field of contribution to the unity and integrity of India, and that is in the name of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Now the award will be announced on the occasion of the National Unity Day, and that the National Unity Day is to be celebrated on the birth anniversary of Sardar Patel, which is 31st of October. Now the committee, we'll talk about the committee in this award. Now the committee would be constituted by the Prime Minister, and it will include the Cabinet Secretary, Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Secretary to the President, Home Secretary as members, and 3 to 4 eminent persons selected by the Prime Ministers. These are going to be the group which actually will form the committee in selecting who should actually get this award. Now coming to the eligibility and the nominations, any Indian national or institution or organization based in India would be able to nominate an individual for consideration of this award. Now individuals may also nominate themselves. A person in his individual capacity can also nominate him as a person who needs to receive this award. Now state governments, UT administrations and ministries of Government of India may also send nominations. All citizens without distinction of religion, race, caste, gender, place of birth, age or occupation, and any institution or organization would be eligible for this award. Now we'll talk about what this award actually consists of. Now the award would consist of a medal and a citation. However, there is not going to be any monetary grant or cash award attached to this award. Now, not more than 3 awards would be given in a year, and it would not be conferred posthumously except for very rare and highly deserving cases. Now, one thing we need to keep in mind is that the nominations would be invited every year, and the applications would need to be filed online on the website specifically designed by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Coming to our next topic, which is the India TB report of 2019. Now, this is in news because the number of HIV infected people who go on to develop tuberculosis later is increasing in India, and this findings has been coming from the report, which is the India TB report of 2019. Okay, now we'll talk a few facts from this report. Now, TB is the leading cause of morbidity and mortality among people living with HIV. Now, TB-HIV co-infection results in higher mortality rates. Nearly 25% of all the deaths among people living with HIV are estimated to be due to the cause of tuberculosis. Now, India is the 3rd highest HIV burdened country in the world with an adult prevalence of 0.22%. Now, in 2018 report, the TB-HIV confection rate was 3%, but in 2019 report, it has increased to 3.4%. Now, India ranks second in the world as far as TB related mortality is concerned. About 9% of the global burden of HIV associated TB is born in India. That means every year around 11,000 Indians die of HIV associated TB, tuberculosis. Now, the highest percentage of patients who tested positive for TB were also infected with HIV, and the highest percentage of such people came from Nagaland, and that is to a percentage of 15.6%. Now, following that was from Karnataka, that is at 10%, after which came Chandigarh at 9.1%, and then came from Manipur, which is 8.9%. Now, the treatment success rate of newly registered TB HIV patients also dipped by 9 percentage points. Now, the India TB report of 2018 said it was 79% as compared to 70% according to this year's report. Now, we'll talk about which all areas there has been an increase in this. Now, overall, the TB burden in India is highest in Uttar Pradesh, and that accounts for 17% of the country's population and has contributed to 20% of the total TB notified patients. Now, Uttar Pradesh is followed by Maharashtra at 10% and then by Rajasthan at 7%. Now, the report claims that the notification of TB cases has gone up by 16% points as compared to the last report. Coming to pediatric and drug resistant TB. Now, the percentage of pediatric tuberculosis, that is TB among population with an age less than 15 years, and so the pediatric tuberculosis cases have also slightly gone up. Now, according to the 2019 report, pediatric TB patients notified is 6.1% compared to the 6% mark in 2018. The highest number of pediatric TB cases has been reported from Uttar Pradesh, followed by Delhi and Maharashtra in terms of absolute numbers. Now, India has 29,966 MDR TB patients. Now, MDR here is multi-drug resistant TB patients. Now, the highest, this is the highest in the world, while there are almost 2,130 XDR TB patients. Now, XDR here stands for extremely drug resistant patients. So, MDR, basically MDR here stands for those microbes which are resistant to most of the drugs which are used to kill it. That is MDR TB. With respect to XDR TB, it's a much more higher version of the MDR TB, which means almost all the drugs or medicines that is there to kill these microbes, it is being ineffective in these cases. So, we do have 2,130 cases of XDR TB patients in the country. Now, according to the India TB report of 2019, the success rate of treatment of drug-resistant TB patients has remained stagnant at 47%. Coming to our next topic, which is the Chabahar Port. Now, this is in news because our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi and the President of Iran, Hassan Rouhani, has discussed Chabahar Port's progress. Now, the Chabahar Port project will be the first overseas venture of the Indian state-owned ports. Now, these will be like Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust and the Deen Dayal Port Trust. It is located in the Sistan Baluchistan province on Iran's southeastern coast. Now, this is outside the Persian Gulf. Understand, the Persian Gulf start after you enter through the Hormuz Strait. But the Chabahar Port is not located to the western side of Hormuz Strait, but is located to the eastern side of the Hormuz Strait. So here, as you can understand that, you can see that the Chabahar Port is located outside the Persian Gulf. Now, the Chabahar Port is of great strategic importance for the development of regional maritime transit traffic to Afghanistan and Central Asia. Now, the Chabahar Port is a seaport in the Chabahar in the southeastern Iran region. Its location lies in the Gulf of Oman. Now, it is the only Iranian port with direct access to the ocean. As you know, all the other ports in Iran will have to reach the ocean from the Persian Gulf after crossing the Hormuz Strait. Now, the port gives access to the energy-rich Gulf nation's southern coast. Now, here you can see the image of the Chabahar Port, which is adjacent to Pakistan. If you can see Gwadar written there. So, adjacent to that, you can see Chabahar Port also written. So, from the geographical point of view, you can understand the importance, the strategic importance of the Chabahar Port. Okay, we'll come to the strategic importance of the Chabahar Port. Now, this port provides access to the resources and markets of the landlocked Afghanistan and Central Asia, bypassing Pakistan. So we don't need to reach Central Asia with the help of this port. We will not require the help of Pakistan, because we will completely bypass Pakistan for reaching the resource-rich Central Asian region. Now it is located less than 150 kilometers west of the Pakistani port of Gwadar. Now understand, Gwadar is currently being developed by China under CPEC, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Now thus, because of this location, it helps in countering the Chinese presence in the Arabian Sea or keeping track of the Chinese or Pakistani military activity based out of Gwadar. Now Chabahar Port will be linked to the international North-South transit corridor. It will thus serve as an India's outreach to the region, to Afghanistan and beyond, to Russia, Eastern Europe and those regions. With Chabahar Port becoming functional, there will be a significant boost in the import of iron ore, sugar and rice to India. Coming to a related topic, as I mentioned, we talked about the International North-South Transport Corridor. Now this corridor has been initiated in 2000 by Russia, India and Iran. It's a multimodal transport route linking the Indian Ocean and the Persian Gulf to the Caspian Sea via Iran, and from the Caspian Sea it goes on northwards to Europe via St. Petersburg in Russia. Now India, along with 12 other members, is parties to the agreement of the International North-South Transport Corridor. India, Russia and Iran are the founding members of this project. Now the other members are Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Belarus, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Oman, Ukraine and Bulgaria as an observer. Now here you can see the image of the North-South Transit Corridor. You can see from India's Mumbai, it connects all the way to St. Petersburg, and the sea route you can see from Mumbai again, it goes through the Red Sea into the Mediterranean Sea, cutting across the North Sea and then reaching the Baltic Sea and then again coming down till Russian coast. So you can see the importance of the area, the region which this international North-South corridor transport corridor actually passes through. Coming to our next topic, which is the Dividend Distribution Tax. Now this is in news because the Task Force on Direct Tax Code has recommended abolition of the dividend distribution tax with a view to promote investment. So they are wanting to promote, more investment, and because of that they want to abolish this particular kind of tax. So we'll talk about this tax. Now it is a tax imposed by the central government on the dividend distributed by corporate for its shareholders. Now dividends paid by a domestic company are subject to dividend distribution tax at 15% of the aggregate dividend declared, distributed or paid. Now the provisions of the DDT, that is the dividend distribution tax, were introduced in the Finance Act of 1997. Now coming to what is the effective tax rate for dividend distribution. Now understand, once surcharge and cess are added to the grossed up amount, the effective tax rate is 20.35%. That includes a 12% surcharge and a 3% education cess. Now coming to when a company will have to pay this. A company has to pay tax on the distributed profits to the government within 14 days of declaration of the distribution or payment of any dividend, whichever is earliest. Now if a company has not paid it within its time frame, an interest will be accumulated at 1% per month or part thereof till the full amount has been paid. Now coming to our current affairs capsules. Now the first area in the current affairs capsules is Ranitidine. Now Ranitidine actually belongs to a group of drugs that is called histamine 2 blockers. Now histamine is actually a protein inside our body. Now Ranitidine remains the most commonly prescribed medicine for acid peptic disorders. Basically it's an antacid. It removes acidity from the stomach and has been generally considered safer than many other medicines. However, ranitidine is also used in treatment of intestinal ulcers, gastroesophageal reflux disease, esophagitis, Zolling-Ellison syndrome and other kind of diseases. Now this is in news recently because it has been found there are some cases, some pharmaceutical companies or some stakeholders, people saying that ranitidine does contain cancer-causing substances. So it's because of that people are asked not to take ranitidine as of now until further tests have been conducted on it. Now coming to our next capsule, which is the Gandhi Solar Park and Gandhi Peace Garden. Now the Gandhi Solar Park is a first of its kind symbolic Indian effort at the United Nations that highlights India's willingness to go beyond the talk on climate change and climate action. As a contribution of about 1 million, India has gifted solar panels that have been installed on the roof of United Nations headquarters. So now the United Nations headquarters has a solar roof which has been gifted by India, which cost about $1 million. Now it will contain one panel each for the 193 United Nations members. Now the garden is dedicated to the memory of the to Mahatma Gandhi and is a crowd-sourced project with people adopting trees in the memory of their loved ones. Coming to a map-aided program, today we will be discussing about the Panna Tiger Reserve. Okay. Now the Panna Tiger Reserve is located in the Vindhyan Hills in the northern Madhya Pradesh. It's a dry deciduous forest and is characterized by extensive plateaus and gorges. River Ken actually flows through it, and the Panna Tiger Reserve is the northernmost boundary of the national distribution or growth of teak. You know, teak is a special hardwood which is mostly used for making furniture. It has a very nice grain quality, and the northernmost region where you can find teak naturally is in Panna Tiger Reserve. Basically, teak is actually a very good hardwood which grows in the dry deciduous or deciduous forest. Now this is one of the boundaries, northernmost boundaries of the dry deciduous forest in India. Now the Panna Tiger Reserve actually links the eastern and western populations of wild animals through the northeast and southwest running Vindhyan hill ranges. Now it is also one of the most important protected area in the north central highlands in India. You can see the location of the Panna Tiger Reserve. It's on the northern side from of the state of Madhya Pradesh. You can see that. Now coming to our previous year question revision series, I'll read out the question. Which one of the following is not a Harappan site? This was a question from the 2019 prelims paper. Now the options are A. Chanhudaru, B. Kodiji, C. Sogaura, and finally D. Telaspur. So here you may have a, you can easily eliminate Chanhudaru and Kodiji because once you start reading ancient history, it can easily be eliminated. Only a small problem which we'll have is between C and D. But in this case also, if you read a bit more carefully or read in depth a little bit, you will come to know that D is not an answer and D actually is a Harappan site. So therefore, since the question is, what they're asking is, which one of the following is not a Harappan site, the answer will be option C, that is Sogaura. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you have any doubts or queries, you can write down in the comment section below. Thank you.